Welcome to the Richard Sherman Podcast. Hit that sub button if you're new. We're here to give you great NFL content. Please tune in. Let's move forward or move backwards to the Sunday night game, Buffalo versus Baltimore. And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here because that game, they didn't spend a whole lot of time. At least Buffalo didn't in this regard. They got mollywopped in prime time. And it just seems like the Buffalo Bills hate seeing Derrick Henry come to town, because when he comes to town, all their DBs say, hey, let me make sure my affairs are in order. Let me make sure my family knows I love them, because we got Derrick Henry coming in and I don't know what's going to happen. You know, there was a viral clip, I'm not going to mention any names, of a stiff arm against a Buffalo Bills player the last time he was in prime time. He had 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. This time, he didn't want to go that crazy, Mitchell. He only had 24 carries for 199 yards and 1 touchdown. Lamar Jackson showed up, 13 for 18, 156 yards, 2 TDs, 6 rushes for 52 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen gets held relatively in check, only has 16 of 29 for 180 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, lost a fumble. But credit this Baltimore Ravens defense and Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy is eating this season. In 4 games, he has 6 sacks. He had 2 sacks in this game. They got 8 hits on Josh Allen in this ball game, and that was the story. That was the way they won a lot of games last year. Their defense showed up in a big way. Justin Madubuike, or Nnamdi Madubuike, my apologies, is his new name, showed up and had all those sacks in that season. And that's what they were waiting to see again against a quality opponent. And Buffalo Bills have, for all intents and purposes, won some really good games this year. We got to see him against the Miami Dolphins. The game, Tua Tagovailoa goes down, and they looked really good. We had Josh Allen on the desk, and he's talking about how everybody eats, and everybody eats, and they were able to spread the ball around. But you run into a veteran defense like this Baltimore Ravens defense with Marlon Humphreys and these guys, Cal Hamilton, and they made him pay. Mitchell, Roquan Smith, they made him pay, and they're starting to find their groove. They were able to hold this high-powered offense to 10 points to get to Josh Allen consistently. And then this offense, this is what they want to do. They're coming off a really good game where they were able to run the ball down the throats of the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. They ran for 274 yards against the Dallas Cowboys, and they are continuing that. They found the formula that works. Let's give Derrick Henry the ball over and over, early and often, until the cows come home, Mitchell, and they're in Baltimore. I don't even think there's any cows to come home. And so I'm looking forward to seeing them continue this streak, Mitchell, continue to run the football, because Baltimore is in this division, in this AFC North, where it's just a weird division. Obviously, Pittsburgh was undefeated before they lose to the Indianapolis Colts. The Cleveland Browns are kind of middling. You know, it looks like Deshaun Watson has moments where he's finding his groove, finding his rhythm, but in that defense has played good football before, but they're kind of up and down right now. Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. T. Higgins is getting healthy, and you don't really know what you're getting out of them because they're underwhelming defensively. Offensively, they're kind of finding their groove. And so this Ravens-Bengals game is going to tell us a lot of things that we need to know. Can Baltimore get over 500? Can they continue to run the ball as they have? Because that interior defensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals isn't great. They lost DJ Reader to your Detroit Lions. That was a big piece of what they were doing defensively, and they haven't been able to fill that void. And the Buffalo Bills go to the Houston Texans, who just got a really, really great sloppy win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But when you win those kind of games, it humbles you and it tightens up the ship, Mitchell. You go to practice and you really work hard. You really go get after it because you feel like you stole one. You feel like you got one that you didn't deserve a little bit. And so I'm expecting the Houston Texans to come out really sharp, CJ Stroud to come out really sharp, Nico Collins, who's leading the league in receiving yards, to come out really sharp in that defense to make some plays. You got to expect Danielle Hunter and to come out and have a big game, that pass rush to get hot again, especially after seeing Josh Allen get hit 8 times against Baltimore. I'm expecting him to have a big game.
Well, the Bills and Josh Allen, you saw a moment of brilliance from Josh Allen in this game, scrambling, evading would-be tacklers, about to go out of bounds, slings one downfield 50 yards to Khalil Shakir. I mean, Josh Allen is putting this team on his back as much as he can, but this was another game. Like you said, you're facing the Baltimore Ravens, 1-2 at the time, in a must-win situation. That's going to be a tough situation to overcome. Derrick Henry is everything this Baltimore Ravens team needed last year, and give him the darn ball as much as you can. Baltimore looks scary. These last 2 wins were complete dominance. Baltimore going forward, they look like they are back, Richard. Moving on to the next topic, the Buffalo Bills. They looked good. They exceeded expectations the first 3 weeks. And then they go on the road in a tough environment against a great opponent in the Baltimore Ravens and take a massive L. Richard, the Bills are pretenders, buy or sell.
I'm selling that. I think the Bills are contenders. I think they just had a rough game. They ran into a buzzsaw on a good day, and they struggled. They ran into a really good defense that understood, how to play them, how to contain them. They didn't get a ton of opportunities, obviously, with the way Baltimore's running the football. They controlled the clock. So I think they get back on track this week versus well, I mean, that'll be the tale. I apologize. This week will show me a lot. I think they're contenders, but a loss to the Houston Texans may waver depending on how the game goes. If they get beat in a dominant fashion, then that's tough. But I'm not about to have Bills Mafia come after me, calling their team a pretender after I had to sit there on Thursday Night Football and watch them dismantle the Miami Dolphins. So this team has a lot of young talent, a lot of young guys stepping up, playing at a high level. They're beat up. They have some of their best players on IR. Von Miller is starting to play like he's used to playing, but they have some injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They lost a ton of leadership on the defensive side of the ball. So for them to start 3-1 right now in this season, I think everybody counts that as a win, as a great season, as a great start. With all things considered, they lost, I think, 6 captains last year, 5 or 6 captains to either free agency or they're injured. And so for them to have this kind of start, I think they're good. They're fine. They are not pretenders. Josh Allen's here to stay. Josh Allen's legitimate. It's just a rough game.